Todd Grimshaw is set to collapse on the cobbles next week, following days of relentless cruelty from Theo Silverton that leave him emotionally and physically drained. The question is whether this shocking moment will finally alert those around him to the truth of what he's been enduring. In recent episodes, Theo's grip on Todd has tightened even further, with his partner cutting him off financially and forcing him to scrape by on small amounts of cash. As Todd's condition visibly worsens, those close to him may begin to sense that something is seriously wrong. A source connected to the show reveals that Theo has deliberately withheld both food and money, leaving Todd with little strength left to resist. After what is described as one of the most harrowing weeks he has faced so far, Todd loses consciousness in the street in front of loved ones. The insider adds that it's heartbreaking to witness the abuse finally starting to damage Todd's health. While Theo is away in Doncaster, George and Summer try to lift Todd's spirits by treating him to a takeaway, and he gratefully accepts their kindness. However, his brief relief is shattered when he notices multiple missed calls from Theo on his phone. Realizing Summer is struggling for cash, Todd feels ashamed and arranges an advance on his wages so he can share the money with her. His financial anxiety continues during a brunch with James, where Todd pretends to have forgotten his bank card so that James will cover the bill. Later, when Theo returns, he explodes at Todd for being careless with money. Handing over a paltry sum, Theo orders him to buy dinner and keep the receipt, before heartlessly throwing away a treasured photograph and discovering evidence of the earlier takeaway. According to another source, Theo confronts Todd with the discarded food packaging and lectures him about the calories in the curry. He then forces a weak and exhausted Todd to go out running as James looks on with growing concern while Todd struggles down the street in pain. The hope is that James may step in after seeing Todd in such a fragile state. On returning home, Todd grows uneasy when he notices that the photo is missing. After becoming intimate with Theo, he emerges from the bedroom clearly uncomfortable, marked with a painful love bite that Theo seems perversely pleased about. Later, while visiting the corner shop, Todd is unsettled by teasing from Jake about the mark on his neck, prompting him to lash out in response. An insider explains that Todd feels deeply embarrassed by the mark Theo has left on him, and Jake's jokes push him over the edge. Gary is forced to step in and later contacts Theo about the outburst, unknowingly setting the stage for further trouble when Theo waits angrily for Todd to return home. Once again ordered out on a run, a weakened Todd heads back onto the street, but his strength gives way before he can make it home. He collapses on the cobbles, marking a devastating low point in his ordeal. The show's producer has since hinted that this storyline cannot continue indefinitely, and that both Todd and those around him will begin to question what is really happening. She explained that Todd is surrounded by a makeshift family who care deeply for him, and they are starting to notice that he is no longer acting like himself. As Todd becomes a shadow of the man he once was, those closest to him may soon rally together and find the courage to confront a situation that is both fragile and deeply troubling. Shockwaves hit Weatherfield next week as Carl Webster secretly plots a devastating fire at the Chariot Square Hotel. Furious after being dismissed from his job by Ryan Connor, Carl becomes consumed by revenge and starts planning a dangerous act that could destroy Debbie's pride and joy. The big question is whether he'll go through with it, and how much damage he could cause if he does. Before being taken into custody, Debbie instructs Ryan to keep the hotel running smoothly while she serves her time. When Carl later refuses to carry out a simple task to help the business, Ryan feels backed into a corner and decides he has no longer trust him, leaving Carl without a job. The decision pushes Carl over the edge. Blinded by anger, Carl begins to spiral, with his behavior growing darker by the day. A source from the show explains that the tension begins when Ryan asks Carl to put up a few QR code stickers around the building. Although it's a minor request, Carl bristles at the idea of taking orders, still resentful that Debbie chose Ryan to take charge instead of him. Ronnie sides with Ryan when things turn sour, but Carl refuses to listen to any reason. When Ryan later discovers the discarded stickers in the bin, it becomes the final straw, and he gives Carl the boot. What Ryan doesn't realize is that this humiliation sparks something far more dangerous in Carl, setting him on a path of destruction. Elsewhere, Adam Barlow delivers news that could offer a slim chance of hope for Debbie's future. After another mini-stroke, there may be grounds to argue for a reduced sentence. Even so, Carl's reaction makes it clear that he feels little sympathy for his mother's condition. Instead of showing concern, he secretly plots to torch the very business she worked so hard to build, purely to hurt Ryan in the worst way possible. With Carl simmering with fury, viewers are left to wonder whether the Chariot Square Hotel will be reduced to ashes. If his plan goes ahead, could unsuspecting locals be caught in the danger? Speaking recently about how prison will affect her character, Sue Devaney shared that Debbie is utterly terrified by her new reality. She explained that Debbie has never experienced anything like this before, and the loss of control will be deeply unsettling for her. With both her health struggles and life behind bars stripping away her usual bravado, Debbie will be forced to confront who she really is and find a way to survive in an environment that offers her no comfort at all. Viewers hoping to catch their usual dose of Coronation Street tonight may be left scratching their heads, as the soap is missing from both ITV and ITVX due to a temporary shakeup to the schedule. Anyone expecting to stream the episode from early morning or tune in during the evening will find there's nothing new to watch. Over the past year, fans have become used to getting early access to episodes online, with recent additions meaning installments have also been available on YouTube from 7 a.m. This has given audiences more flexibility in how and when they follow the drama on the cobbles. However, changes to the broadcasting timetable mean that routine has been briefly disrupted. Just last month, both Coronation Street and Emmerdale moved to a new pattern, introduced with the special crossover event that brought the two villages together. The revised soap hour runs on weeknights, with Emmerdale airing at 8 p.m. followed by Coronation Street at 8:30 p.m. This week, though, Coronation Street slips back into its older Monday, Wednesday, and Friday routine. After an episode on Monday, there is no visit to Weatherfield on Tuesday, as ITV's schedule is taken over by live football coverage. The soap returns on Wednesday evening, only to be bumped again on Thursday to make room for live rugby. Normal service resumes on Friday with the final episode of the week. The show's executive producer previously explained that the shift to shorter, more frequent episodes was designed to suit modern viewing habits. With many people juggling work, family life, and on-demand streaming, half-hour episodes are seen as easier to fit into busy days, whether that's watching on a lunch break, during a commute, or in the evening. Coronation Street continues to air on ITV1 on weeknights and is available to stream on ITVX when episodes are scheduled.